नोव्हेंबर 1979 पेपर सेकंड. Replying to the debate, the Prime Minister said, Para, my approach to the language question is not the approach of those worthy colleagues of ours whom I would call the Hindi enthusiasts, nor is it the approach of other colleagues who are the English enthusiasts. I am an enthusiast of both English and Hindi. When I say Hindi, I mean the Indian languages. I do not see any real conflict between the languages, Para. In the course of the debate, many aspects of the language issue have been referred to. In the case of language, the major change that has come over India is that the medium of instruction in schools is now the language of the state. English is certainly used in education, especially in the universities, but the instruction in the regional language is a big break linguistically from the past. You can therefore regard English only as a secondary language, a compulsory secondary language if you like, a highly important language, but a language which is not the medium of instruction. It is learnt as a foreign language. That is inevitable and also right, Para. There are certain risks and dangers in the Indian languages developing a separateness. We should fight any such tendency, but in fighting it, we should try not to come in the way of their development. We should encourage their fullest development. I believe it is through such development that the languages can come together. We shall get over the danger of linguistic separatism as long as we encourage the right tendencies and one language group does not try to impose its will on other groups. Para. Take Hindi. Hindi is at present objected to by many people in the South. Why? Because of a feeling of imposition and not because they are against Hindi. As a matter of fact, there are vast numbers of people in the South learning Hindi and learning it very well. Hindi is progressing there, but the moment you talk of any kind of imposition, they get angry, quite rightly. Therefore, all talk of imposition must go. I should go further and tell the people of the South that if they do not want to learn Hindi, let them not learn Hindi. Let us adopt this approach if they desire so, and thereby we will gradually bring them nearer. Para. I repeat that the big thing that has happened in India is that the medium of instruction has changed from English to the regional languages. It is right and essential for our education to be in the regional languages if we have to deal with the masses of our people. Para. I have said I am partial to English, but I am also partial to the masses of this country. I cannot forget that we have to carry 400 million people and we cannot carry them psychologically, emotionally, or practically in any way except through their language. It is no good forgetting that it is the non English knowing people who will decide the fate of India because they are the vast majority in this country. We have to encourage our languages and we have to conduct our education and work progressively in our languages. in order to keep in touch with the people and to bring them into emotional contact with what is happening in the government and in the country. Para. Our constitution laid it down that Hindi should develop progressively. We took that decision not because Hindi is better or more powerful than the other languages, but for certain very practical reasons. I believe that this should be done, Para. I suggest two things. Firstly, as I have said, there must be no imposition. Secondly, for an indefinite period, I do not know how long I would have English as an associate additional language which can be used for official purposes. I would have it so not mainly because of the existing facilities, but because I do not wish the people of the non Hindi areas to feel that certain advantages are denied to them. Being forced to correspond in the Hindi language, they can correspond in English. It would have English as an alternate language as long as the people require it. And I would leave the decision not to the Hindi knowing people but to the non Hindi knowing people. Para. I come to English and its importance. It is important not because a number of people know it in India, although it is a factor to be remembered. English is important because it is the major window for us on the modern world, and we dare not close that window. If we close it, we imperil our future. Para. We think of our 5-year plans, industrialization, scientific development, and technology. But every door of modern knowledge will be closed if we do not have one or more foreign languages. Every competent scientist today has to know two or three non-Indian languages. It is inevitable that in the present stage of our development, with our 5-year plans, industrialization, mechanization, scientific progress, and research, we cannot progress with all the Indian languages put together. If we want to stick to them only without foreign languages, we do not go ahead. I am definite on that point, Para. There is another aspect which we may bear in mind when we talk about language in the context of the industrial age and all the other scientific developments. A totally new language is developing in the world, namely a language largely of mathematical formulae. There is very little else there. These mathematical formulae are internationally accepted. Only scientists understand this language, and as for you and me, we just cannot understand it. This language is developing at a terrific pace because it has to keep abreast of developments in technology and pure science. Likewise, it is essential that we use international numerals progressively because they again are a symbol of the modern age. Para. In conclusion, I will say that we have to develop our languages and also keep in touch with the masses of our people. Therefore, we have progressively to function in our languages. At the same time, we have to remember we live in the modern scientific age. We must have a foreign language to serve as a window to the modern age.